To and fro. You're not paying attention.
Look, for the last time, where do you live?
City Hall.
Listen, that's you.
Hey, everybody, welcome in. You're watching the replay. Thank you for being there. Sorry, there wasn't a lot of notice on this one. It was just sort of a spur of the moment kind of thing. Sometimes we'll get a wild hair and be like, you know what? Let's do a live. It's been almost a month, so way too long since we did a live, and that's kind of the idea. So we're just kind of waiting for folks to join the actual live. Meanwhile, I'm listening to a record. In fact, you know what? I'm going to maybe I'll talk about that a little bit. Let me stop this, and we can kind of explain what the record is while folks are joining. So, and I did a short about it. I've talked about it a couple of times, but I'm interested in it. First of all, let me ask you something. If you get a sleeve like this, would you keep it and use it? And normally I would instantly say no to that, but this one is still got its soft plastic lining. So it's not like, if it was just paper, then yeah, this is like a high acid paper. That's why it's like browning, and it's pretty thick, but it's polylined or some sort of soft plastic. I don't see why replace it. So this is historic, and it's also functional. And so yeah, this record is Bo James soundtrack on London Records. Like I did the video, this is a UK pressing. I didn't realize that it was that unique when I picked it up, but I could tell something was different versus almost all the other records I've seen. Like, for instance, glossy. Usually we don't get these glossy covers like this. I mean, I guess some modern ones probably are, but it just seems, for a vintage sleeve, it just seemed different. It's not a tip-on sleeve. It's made out of this interesting cardstock, as you can see up here. It's got like this curved area up here, another one down here, and apparently when they put it together, it like folded over and then was adhesive to kind of hold itself. I've never seen a sleeve constructed like that. It's glossy on the back, as you can see as well. It's also rather thin. But anyway, it kind of stood out to me, and that's why I looked into it. And it's on London Records. Here's the actual disc. I was listening to it. Every time I do these lives, it takes about 20 minutes to set the show up. So I put this on to spin. It's a gorgeous record. It looks better on camera in terms of condition than it really is. I'm terrible at grading records, so I'm not going to assign it a grading value, but it sounds quite good. There's some snap, crackle, and pop a little bit, but it's definitely not that worn. It was definitely used, but it's got a lot of light. But you can still see some of that rainbow sheen in those light refractive areas there. And London Long Playing Records, and this was released on the Imperial label domestically. So kind of special to find that. Somebody left a very good comment on that video about why I probably saw a international release in Houston, which is where I picked this up at a Second and Charles there, relating to, a lot of service people had it served overseas, and it could be stationed there. The oil and gas industry is huge there. But this is also a British sleeve. This is a special sleeve. So this record label, London Records, is essentially an EMI imprint. But yeah, look at this down here. British and foreign patents pending. British and foreign patents pending. We have instructions. The record must be played only on equipment having. These are the requirements to play this record. Let's see if I meet all of these. And I'll tell you, I got 2 turntables in here that haven't been here in a while. So especially one. The Technics is still spinning up. I can't replace this thing. Not yet, because I haven't found anything better than it for what it does. It's a great changer, fully automatic. I think if you have a changer, you're also always fully automatic. So here are the requirements. A turntable revolving at 33 1/3 RPM, constant speed. Yes, I meet that requirement. I had to think of the British accent while this is I'm not going to do, I do a pretty good British accent, but I'm not going to chance that on here. A lightweight pickup with stylus, weight not more than 10 grams. I need to take a picture of this. People don't believe me when I say that, it was very common to play records 8, 9, 10 grams. And here it is in print. The lighting is kind of low tonight. So I'm not going to hold up too much stuff for you to read on screen, but 10 grams, approximately, what does that say, a third ounce? A micro groove sapphire or diamond stylus, 0.001 inch tip radius. Is that inch? Yeah, it does say inch. Sapphires should be examined for wear after under playings. Avoid dropping the pickup on the record or motor board, aka plinth. Interesting terminology. A worn or chipped stylus may damage your records permanently and will certainly impair the quality of reproduction. I think we're doing good. I've got about, I think I'm tracking approximately 3.5, maybe three grams on there. Handle the record with great care. Avoid touching the playing surfaces. Keep away from dust and heat. Clean the record frequently by gently wiping with a soft, damp cloth. Replace the record Replace the record in this container, meaning the sleeve, immediately after use. Store in an even moderate temperature. This long playing record is a high precision product. We have done our utmost to ensure that it reaches you in perfect condition, in compliance with the. What does it say? In perfect condition. Compliance with the following suggestion will help you keep it so. Okay. Yeah, I think we meet all those requirements. So interesting. So let's see in the comments. Hey, everybody, welcome in, by the way. Roger says, heck no, I'm not putting my records in there. They're going in a master sleeve. Even though it's poly-lined, I mean, what damage could be done, right? I mean, that's like the same kind of stuff that my Hudson Hi-Fi anti-static sleeves with the rice paper are made out of. So the part that's touching the record, and the rigidity is nice. It's thick. No, you wouldn't do it, huh? Welcome in. Thank you to all of our members who are joining us tonight. I appreciate it. Don't forget, our membership program is only $1 a month. I was thinking, I've been calling it it's changed names. It's kind of more. Have you noticed the name is, we're calling it needs to be kind of catchy, I think. The original membership program that we did years ago, what was that, Inner Circle? Was that the Inner Circle? Or is this one the Inner Circle? Anyway, it's now called the $1 membership program. Very creative, right? Remember $1? I should call it like the Buck Membership Club or something like the $1 membership club, $1 membership club. I don't know. I still can't get it. Doesn't roll off the tongue. Yeah, Eric, me too. Everything else is in a Hudson Hi-Fi. Those are great sleeves. I have like a hoard of sleeves, and I will probably never use up all of them. There's some Herb Albert UK pressings that are like that. That's cool. Yeah, it's pretty fun. Really cool Herb Albert box set. I need to do more with that on the show. Let's talk about kindness. Yeah, this is a cool shirt. So there was an Instagram, it still is an Instagram account. I think it's called the Summer Shirt Project. And it's an interesting story. I've got a lot of these shirts. You'll notice I've got a lot of these kindness shirts. And essentially, it was a girl with autism. And for a summer project a few years ago, her and her mom started selling T-shirts that said they had different messages, but had sort of cute designs, fun designs. And they went bananas. They went like so successful. And we're selling so many. Now they have this huge enterprise, a whole warehouse, a whole staff, and they constantly coming out with shirts. But they're really, in addition to supporting, autism awareness and spreading kindness and love, they are also great shirts. They use a company, I think they're called Next Level. I would like to start using them for our shirts. We have shirts. Did you know we have merch? We have shirts, and it's a great vendor. And but yeah, they're great. They're comfortable shirts. They have all different sizes. They do stuff for every holiday, constantly coming out with stuff. They also ship. I think shipping's free, and they ship. It's not a promotion. It's not a sponsor at all. But I just love them. And they ship quick. They ship really quick. So every once in a while, I'll grab a bunch of these. Let's talk. They're autism awareness. They're something always about kindness. That's kind of the catchphrase. Happy birthday, Clay. Recently bought Reba McEntire's number ones on a 2-disc set. That's cool. That's really cool. Clarence Carter, awesome. That's really, really cool. So here's an update to my personal listening setup. I always like to give you an update. I've done videos kind of touring it. The system sort of wraps around. This is my premium listening space. My premium isn't the right word. We're an entry level channel. This is my primary listening space. I think that's a better way to put it. And I've been building for the first time an actual setup in my living room in another part of the house. And I've been having fun doing that. And I've been kind of talking about that in the videos as well. But this space is my workspace. I work here, I work from home, and I listen to music when I'm working, and I'm able to do a number of things. So it's not like a visually appealing space. Like you wouldn't be like, oh, wow, that's such a cool setup. That looks awesome. It looks kind of like a radio DJ setup in terms of like, they have all their functional stuff, their switches and their equipment in arm's reach, and it's really meant to be heard more than looked at. It's in a different way, but also kind of the same way. So that's why I haven't been like a wide shot, like check this out. You guys are probably like, ugh. But for me, it works really well. So here is the setup that I've got. On the left, usually on the left, I like to keep a manual turntable. I have 3 turntables here right now, and that's ridiculous. We don't need 3. It's excessive, but I enjoy it. Okay. So that's really not a good reason. I've got 3 turntables. I've got on my left is usually the spot for the manual turntable. I actually have given another chance. Not that I had a big problem with it the first time, but after I did the video, I was kind of like, I think we'll put that away for a while. Just it was good for what it was, but I just wasn't as tickled with it as I thought I would be. And that is the FIO. I think they call it a TT13, Turntable 13. I think I could be wrong on that. And obviously, yeah, we did the video review, but it's cool. I love FIO stuff. I listen to a lot of FIO stuff. I love my FIO CD player. I love my FIO cassette player. I listen to my FIO MP3, and I shouldn't call it that. Somebody got after me. What do they call? We're calling MP3 players DAPs now, digital audio player, because it does high res and all this stuff. Although mostly I'm listening to MP3s on it because they're usually ambient sounds and movie audio and stuff of stuff I already own. And so yeah, I had to try out their record player, and this was their first foray, as far as I know, into turntables. And it's cool. It's different than anything else. Like it's not just a carbon copy. It's more different than the competition usually is from each other. Does that make any sense? Like a Crosley automatic turntable and an Audio-Technica and a Victrola kind of are more similar than this is to any of those. That's what I'm trying to say. So it's got an aluminum plinth. It may be an aluminum with an MDF inside, but it's a cold touch metal plinth, which is a nice change because usually we've got veneers on MDF, and it's got I don't know if it's cast iron or an aluminum platter. It's got micro switch buttons for the controls. It's an automatic. Again, this is usually where my manual is, but right now it's my automatic. You can still use it manually, and it's great. It's a 2-speed turntable. It's got lights. That was the other thing. It has an RGB light ring under the platter, and then the logo lights up. It just looks cool. Yes, I like bright, flashy, light up things, and you may argue, oh, the audio interference from the lights, and I don't hear any. It's got a built-in preamp. I was going to use it with my 2 preamp that usually lives down here. Again, this is all off camera. You got to take my word for it. Down here in the bottom left, and we've reviewed all the equipment separately. So there's nothing. You're not missing anything you haven't seen or could see if you go out and look for it on the channel. But this has the wonky output grounding port. Instead of having like a screw terminal where you can put a tabbed ground wire in there, it has an RCA jack for the ground. And I didn't have anything that would work with that. And I don't think it came with a cable that would do that. So being impatient, I just used the built-in preamp. And it happens to be a good one. Solid state. It's not as cool as my light up tube preamp that I had there. Still my Duke Audio tube preamp over here. You can see the tubes actually right there. This thing is so cool because it's like a space saver. It's vertical. It's a T4 Pro, I think. It's got a VU meter on the front. It's got a bunch of, you can calibrate this thing. It's a fantastic preamp. I love putting in 2 preamps. Now I know the 2 preamps especially the ones in my price range. These are like less than $200. Like I think that one's like 109-ish kind of price range. Those tubes are filters only. They're not it's not the pure amplifier. They do run warm. They do glow, although sometimes they'll enhance them with LED lighting and stuff to give them a different. This one actually had different colors. You could do orange or green. This one just has this natural tonality in the color. But they add a warm tonality in the sound as well. So that's kind of why I like it. It's kind of like a filter. And they work as a good preamp too, because the solid state part of it works well too. Billy Joel and Glenn Miller. Good artist. Good artist. I love the video of Billy Joel getting mad and flipping the piano over. My son recently kind of went through a Billy Joel phase, and I was like, have you ever seen that video of him flipping the piano? He's like, what? It's a funny one. Have you ever reviewed the On AM/FM stereo CD cassette portable stereo boombox? I don't know. Let's look it up. I don't think so. We've done quite a few On things. Let me look it up. By the way, I hope you guys are as excited as I am for the gift box drop tomorrow. It's not a gift box. The box set drop tomorrow. It goes on sale at noon Eastern. There's 20 box sets, and we've shown a couple of hints about them. But once they're gone, they're gone. They go on sale on the 1st, September 1st, tomorrow at 12 p.m. Did I say a.m.? 12 p.m. 12 noon Eastern time. They go on sale. And I'll talk about that a little bit more in a little bit. What's in it? Okay, yeah, I've seen this. I feel like I reviewed one very similar, branded Tyler. And we haven't done any Tyler branded electronics in quite a while. I don't know if my contact over there is still. Yeah, it looks basic, but it looks cool. I like it. And it's BPC. I love black plastic stuff. BPS. I think it's good. Yeah, I love that. I'll check that out. Thanks for the tip. Well, that would make a good video. I appreciate the input. I appreciate the tips. Absolutely. Dun, 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 dun. Yep, we've done that, Clay. So we've reviewed, look up our Amazon Basics suitcase player review. And then also Amazon owns the brand Byron Statics. I don't think we've ever done any of their products, but they are also an Amazon brand. But look up our Amazon Basics, and it's actually branded. It says it on the bottom, which I think is awesome. My hair is just wild tonight. Sorry, guys. I had a hat on at one point. I think you can also get Amazon Basics. I need to fire it with my player getting some vinyl on chill. Loving the Fluence. Love Fluence. That's what I had on here right before the FIO. I had the RT81 Plus, which is cool. Yeah, Clay, I saw the tube CD player. That's so cool. Okay, so Noah, thank you for asking. What we are doing is we made up and hand assembled 20 boxes. And the box is a box inside a box. If you get one, you'll be surprised because we invested a lot in the packaging and to really make it a nice product appearance. After this video, if you look on our community tab, our community posts, or it's just called posts tab now, you'll see a picture of all the shipping boxes ready to go because they're built and ready to ship out. We wanted to be ready for tomorrow. Thanks, Nick. I appreciate it. And inside, the big thing is that we have is a set of 45 adapters that we've made, which we do on our eBay store. And but the color is an exclusive color, and we usually have an exclusive color at any given time available in there. But what we did is we created a colorway of two. One is a harvest gold, and the other one's like one's kind of like a harvest gold, one's like an orange, like a there's a name for it, and I can't think of it. Harvest gold, and one's orangish, but not the signature orange. It's a special, never been done before orange, and one's a kind of a yellowish, very 70s, very on brand for our logo kind of deal. But they're 2 exclusive color adapters. One's a style 1, one's a style 2, and we made 20 sets of those. And that's the only way to get those color adapters. So everybody that's collecting all of our colors now, we must have like 30 different exclusive color adapters that we've sold, on and off over the years. But if you're collecting the colors, it's the only way to get these 2 colors, because we only bought miniature reels of PLA for this. They're gone. So they're made, they're done. They won't be released again. So you get the exclusive 45 adapters. They come in a little gift wrap. We also are putting in our very first brush kit, the official Record-ology brush kit. It's a felt padded brush. It's a very high quality brush. We tested multiples, and it's got a nice padded felt texture. It's perfect for cleaning your records, and it's a kit. So if you open up the lid of the brush, there's a brush to brush the brush and to keep the main felt brush clean. And then there's a carbon fiber brush to keep your stylus clean. So it's a 3-in-1 brush kit. And then also we got these super luxurious, fluffy microfiber cleaning cloths as well. So you get all 3 of those. We've got stickers in there. I put an autograph card in every single one of them, and just little surprises, the way it's packaged and things. So those box sets, we made 20 of them. They go on sale tomorrow at noon, and when they're gone, they're gone. If it's successful, if people like these box sets, we may look at doing something similar down the road. But this is our fall into vinyl box sets. Link to the eBay store if you haven't already seen it, which you should see it, because that's where our other 45 adapters and Seeburg adapters are always available. By the way, I've got one of my Seeburg adapters around here. I know this because I cleaned my desk this week, which is a big achievement for me. And here it is. So we also make these 2-inch Seeburg adapters. This one is not available to the public, this color. I just made this for me, but that's the size. It's a 2-inch adapter for playing records with a 2-inch hole, like a Seeburg record. The idea is it'll allow you to, it's like a 45 adapter, but for your Seeburg records. And if I can visually line it up. All our adapters are tested to fit, all that stuff. But those box sets, when they're gone, they're gone. And that's fun stuff. So that's that. That's one of many things coming up very, very soon. That's a big one. Also, if you aren't aware, we're doing the podcast now. The first episode dropped last Wednesday. It's just a 15-minute chat with me and Mrs. Record-ology. We talked about our vinyl origin stories, what got us into records, our record memories from being kids of the 80s and 90s and all this stuff. And it's been a lot of fun. So you're cordially invited. The vlog, or did I say vlog? The podcast. Did I say vlog? The podcast. It's a podcast. It's the unnamed podcast. Podcast videos will be released on Wednesdays right here on this channel. Oh, Record-ology Funko Pop? That would be cool. That would be really, really cool. Avocado green and brown. We did a copper colored adapter, 45 adapter, not too long ago. Michael Jackson's Thriller. That's awesome. The original release. That's really cool. The only original Michael Jackson record I have is a 45 of The Way You Make Me Feel. In fact, I think I probably have it right here. Let's see. Yeah, right here. This is my only original MJ picture sleeve 45 record. The record's missing. Where's the record? It's around here somewhere. It's not in incredible condition. I was a massive Michael Jackson fan as a kid. Still am a massive fan. I don't have Thriller on anything right now. I love Thriller. It's a great album. But my number one favorite Michael Jackson album has always been Bad. So I've got the picture disc of Bad somewhere right over there. And I know it's a picture disc, but I listen to my picture discs. They sound good. They got a little bit more pops, scratches, and crackles, but they're still very listenable. That's cool. Marcus says, would you go with the Fluence RT82? I've not tested that, but I've tested the 80, the 81 Plus, and the 85. Those are the 3 I've tested. So they're kind of all the same. And I know the higher end ones have the external mounted belts and all this stuff, but it's very similar turntable, which is a good thing. Same thing with U-turn. The difference between the basic and the premium one is not that great, which is good because that means the baseline is higher. Wow, this hair, dude. What is this hair doing? Like, what is that? I don't even know. But the question is 82 U-turn Orbit Basic or the LP120. So thank you for comparing 3 manual turntables. I love it when I'm asked, would you recommend, should I get, or I love that, should I get? I don't know what you should get. Should I get the automatic LP60X or should I get the LP120X? Totally 2 different turntable experiences, you know what I mean? But you asked a great question. The Fluence RT82, fully manual. U-turn Basic, fully manual. And the LP120X, also fully manual. That's a good question. First of all 3 sound great. If you want to change your cartridge out, if you're planning on doing some cartridge swapping, then I would go with either the 82 or the 120. The reason is that the U-turns have a tabbed head shell. It's a good one, a good magnesium tapering tube tone arm with a tabbed head shell, and it's not a removable head shell. Plus, the anti-skate on the U-turns, which it does have, is factory set to the cartridge it comes with. And I have replaced the cartridge on a U-turn. So if you're good at doing that with a fixed head shell, it's a little bit more intricate, then that's fine. But be aware that if the weight of the cartridge you're putting on there is different than the one that came off of there, then your anti-skate calibration is going to be off. That being said, depending on how you spec it out, because it's very customizable, you know, if you get like a, what is it, AT91 has the same physical dimensions as a 3600, and there's others that have same, but it just is a little bit more limited on cartridge swapping. So if you want a cartridge swap, go 82 or 120. Sound quality, I don't think you're going to hear a discernible difference between the 3. The U-turns feel more homemade, and it's not a bad thing, but it's like a wood plinth. It feels like a solid wood plinth. They're very heavy. They're very durable, but it feels handmade in a good way. If you want a more plasticky, and not in a bad plasticky way, but in a, you know, rolled off the assembly line kind of feel to it, the 120s feel that way. They feel like they rolled off an assembly line. They're great. They're also weighted. They're very heavy, but it's a plastic plinth. It's a more bulky thing. I really like the LP120s for giving you the ability to control everything. Swappable head shells, cueing light. I think they still have cueing lights. And the reason why I say I think is the LP, they did something kind of smart. They took the original first gen 120s, Audio-Technica did, and when they came out with the X series, they split them. They pared it down and made a more basic one and called it the LP120X. Then they took the elevated version and called it a 140X. So the first gen LP120s, although they had a couple issues, the preamp couldn't bypass it fully. It had noise that interfered with things. It had more platter wobble. Some people had issues with the original 120. Some people loved them, but it had a metal 45 adapter, which is cool, not as cool as your Record-ology 3D printed ones. And it had a cueing light, and it had a VTA adjustment. On the 120X, they have the better preamp that's switchable. The rumble is gone. The motor's dead silent, but they give you a cheaper plastic 45 adapter. They took away the VTA adjustment, and they took away the cueing light. I don't know. I'm looking over here. I don't have one right here. And if those things don't matter to you, it's still pretty much the same thing as it used to be, but better. If you have to have a cueing light, you have to have, like you're really using it for DJ use, you really want that aluminum 45 adapter. You really want VTA adjustment. Again, I don't use that unless you're putting a Grado cartridge on that's really tall. Do you really need to adjust the VTA that much? But if you want to go that route, you got to go 140, and it's more expensive. That being said, I love that. If you like the 120 and you don't need 3 speeds because it does have 78, that's another reason why you would get that, is you can run 78 RPM records, put on a different cartridge to accommodate that, etc. If you don't need that 3rd speed, you don't need the weight, and I'm trying to think what else is different. That's pretty much it. You can get a Crosley C100. Comes out of the same factory. It's very nearly similar turntable for a lot less money. I would recommend that. If you can get over the Crosley badge. Oh my gosh, Crosley, did he actually recommend Clutch the Pearls? Did he actually recommend Crosley? Welcome to Record-ology. We aren't afraid of Crosley. They make good stuff. They do. They've had mistakes, but they also make good stuff. Anyway, that's a good one. The RT82 is a great, I'm going to assume it's what I've experienced with the 80, 81 Plus, and the 85. Those feel really good. Again, heavy. It's got a nice smooth veneer. I've got like a walnut color one or a mahogany. It's kind of a dark brown one. This is a weird kind of strangely specific observation, but when you reach underneath the fluence, it's got a very rough textured, like masonite board material that feels cheap. And nobody talks about that. It's fine for what it is, but when you grab the LP120 or you grab the Crosley C100, there's little grips where your fingers go and it feels good. And you grab it, feels like they're handles, but you grab the fluence and you're like, ooh, it's kind of like this rough, almost cardboardy texture. And it's an MDF board material, or not MDF, it's a masonite. I believe it's a masonite board material. But the veneers are beautiful. There's like a foot thick of shellac polish on these things. So gorgeous, like piano finish. So beautiful. Good dust covers. The arms are fantastic. They feel very good to use. I don't know how to describe it, but like even the lift shelf, when you're placing the tone arm, it just feels right. It has a good, how do I describe it? It's got a good feeling to it. I don't know how to describe it. It just feels good. You note it feels quality. Plus the turntable comes wrapped in a bag, like a soft, like almost like a micro texture, soft bag. I don't know if they still provide gloves, but I think at one point they gave you gloves. God forbid you smear your dust cover. Let me try to think of what else. Cartridges that they outfit it with are good. Although if you're going for the 85, I would steer clear of the MP110, the Nagaoka MP110 cartridge. That's the version I got. I think they call it the RT85N for Nagaoka. I was unimpressed with that cartridge. I thought it was okay, but it sounded just like a 3600. And a 3600 is 12, 15, 25 bucks, depending on where you get it. That's what I expect to pay for that sound, which is good, but it's, if you have a $110 cartridge or $100 cartridge, the Nagaoka one, it should sound different, and it didn't for me. But anyway, that's just my personal opinion. A lot of people love it. It's got a warm tonality if you like that Grado warmth kind of sound. I wish I would have got the Ortophone variant. It has the Ortophone Blue RT. What is it? No, Ortophone 2M Blue, I think is what they call it. Very popular cartridge. It's the same cartridge as the 2M Red. It just has a different stylus. It's got the nude, elliptical nude versus the elliptical bonded. And so basically the entire stylus tip is diamond instead of just the very tip that touches. The bonded one has a steel shank and a tiny little tip of diamond where it matters most. So that's a really good one too. Sorry, I'm digging my heels on this question here, but it's a good one. This is a great question. So between the three of them, I get it. I go through phases. That's why I change out my turntables. Right now, in this very moment, I also like how you can customize the U-turns. But I also like all the, and also, the strobe on the 120. I love a strobe. My OCD nature, and I don't say that in a, in a flippant manner. Some people say, "Oh, I'm OCD." No, you're not. Just because you're disorganized doesn't make you. I'm clinically OCD. I have the right and privilege to speak on OCD. I love making sure my speed is perfect, because if I have an inkling that speed is too slow, it'll just drive me nuts, and I'll have to fix it. So I love making sure that the speed is right. The LP120X has a quartz lock on it too. The speed is good and steady. It's a great turntable. If you're interested in the LP120X, also look at the Pioneer PLX 500. It's another heavy-duty direct drive unit that comes out of the same factory as the other two I mentioned. Sometimes a little bit better deal. I don't have my LP120X anymore, but I do have my Pioneer PL500. PL500. I'm going to go right now. I'm feeling the LP120X, but you can't go wrong with any three of those. They're great. That's a great build. But just kind of look at the differences and see what matters to you based on that. You know, Eric, when you mentioned the USA for Africa LP, you know what? And this is really nothing to do with it other than the word Africa, but it reminds me when we were out in Houston 2 or 3 trips ago. We go usually a couple times a year. I went out to Kurt Knox. He's the one, we've done videos on it. Willy Wonka of records. Look it up on the channel. We just look up Kurt Knock on our channel, Nauck. He runs 78rpm.com. He does these auctions with these incredibly overproduced catalogs. There's just one of his catalogs here. I love how he puts the record labels on there. And his auctions, he does these like quarterly. Look at all that. There's thousands of things in there. And we've, been blessed to tour his facility. It's a understandably so not on the map, unlisted location, no signage. It's like a bunker. And anyway, so when we were touring at one time, he showed us, he's like, check this out. He pulls out this case from underneath a table, and he opens like a chest. He opens it up, snaps on the side. Check this out. And it was cylinder records, wax cylinder records, which are cool. But these were very special because they were the very first sound recordings ever made in Africa. In this case, right in front of my eyes. Stuff like that is incredible. Let me get back to it before I forget. The FIA. I love the lights. It does have a fixed head shell. It's running a 3600, which again, it's a fine cartridge, right? It punches way above its weight. I did upgrade. I put an elliptical stylus on it. It's got a cool counterweight. It just looks different. It's unique, and it has a remote control. Now, considering you don't see a lot of record players with remote controls, especially decent ones. And I don't need it because I can reach everything from my left arm here. But it's a cool unit, and to change out the colors of the RGB light ring and the badge lights up and everything, it sounds good. It sounds really, really good. On my right, I've put back the LP70X, and we've been through it, you and me together on this channel. This year has been unlike, well, I was going to say unlike, but really it's been like every year on this channel since we started it back in 2017. Can't believe it's been over 8 years now, where we go through different phases of things. We learn different things. And this year, you could call it many things. One thing you could call it is the year of the LP170. LP170? No, the LP, what is this? AT70. No, what is this? LP60, LP70. Gosh, I need to go to bed. I'm tired. LP70, Audio-Technica LP70, that had the issue with speed, or no, skipping. Everybody's was skipping. Mine started skipping, and I documented the whole process, sending it back. They sent me a new one. The new one is fine. Had something to do with tone arm lubrication, supposedly. I got it back. I think mine is a hair slow. And again, talk about triggers. I would rather be a hair fast, or even more than a hair fast, than even a micrometer slow, if that's a measurement that makes sense. I have to double check that though. I tested it when it first came out of the box. Again, I did videos about it, and I can be adjusted. I mean, there's an adjustment plot underneath. But I brought that back out. I really, really, really love the cartridge that they've got in this thing. That's kind of one of the big upgrades from the 60 to 70 as you go from the Audio-Technica 3600L cartridge to the Audio-Technica What is this thing? After all that, I should know what it's called. VM95E. Nope. ATV. We gotta look it up. What cartridge is on this stupid thing? Yeah, VM95. It's got the VM95 phono cartridge, and it comes with a conical. Does it? I think it comes with a conical. Yes. And it's a great cartridge. You can easily upgrade the stylus. And that's kind of the cool thing about these is you can upgrade it to an elliptical. You can also upgrade it to a Shibata. And it's got like 5 or 6 different upgrade paths based on the color of the stylus housing. Anyway, I'm kind of giving that another shot. I've got the copper and black variant with Bluetooth, although I don't use the Bluetooth. I got the Bluetooth so I could demonstrate that for the show. So yeah, this is back in action. And then the wonderful Technics up here, my SLB5 running on top of a Fluence bass. This is the sound absorbing bass. That changer is just fantastic. I got a Sumiko Black Pearl on there, which is, again, it's a bit over. I mean, it sounds like a 3600, which is good, but it doesn't sound as special. It's like a kind of a warm version of a 3600. The thing that drives me nuts about this cartridge is at least on mine, is the cantilever is very flexible. It's very compliant, and it rides really low. You'll look at it and you'll be like, is that thing touching the record? And it's barely not. That drives me nuts. One of my favorite, you like a phono cartridge that has a nice kind of rigid and distinct cantilever. May I recommend the AT95E? I think this is AT95E, right? It is a very good sounding cartridge. It's kind of weird looking. It doesn't look as cool as the VM95. Yeah, the AT95. Great cartridge. It was like a $50 card. Yeah, $49. That's a great cartridge. Anyway, it stands up real tall on the record, which I like. This one doesn't. This one is actually has a damaged cantilever. So this is a bad visual. But the other one that I'm running actually does have a nice tall cantilever, and it stands up nice on the record, which I prefer. Okay, that's what I'm running for my listening setup for turntables. CD, I've been using the Fozzy Audio ZD3, I think that is. Fozzy Audio ZD3 DAC, and it sounds fantastic. It's got an ESS Sabre chip, and I've decided, at least on my very, very limited testing, that I kind of like the Sabre DAC over the AKM. That's just my personal opinion so far. But anyhow, that's my listening setup right now. Speakers haven't changed. I'm not running the sub in here anymore. I took the sub out and put it in the main room because or the main setup, because I need a sub in there more than I need in here. I wasn't using the sub. Plus, I found out like months later that with the Fluence powered speakers that I like, that if you have the sub connected, there's a low pass in place that even if it's not on, you're losing your bass on the main drivers if it senses that something's plugged into the sub out. So in order to get the full range of the speakers, you have to unplug the sub out. So it makes no sense to have it connected but not to use it. Dangerous. So yeah, that was kind of it for me and Michael Jackson. It was the last one I got, and it was like, well, I liked Dangerous. Was a cool album. I had that on cassette. And then I got I had them all on cassette. That's how I consumed most of my music until I got into CDs. But you know what I ended up buying? What was that one? It was like a double history. His story. It was like a half greatest hits and a half new album. And I at the time I couldn't afford the CD, which is what I was usually listening to. So I bought the cassette for financial reasons. And that was the last Michael Jackson that I ever bought. But yeah, kind of I like some of his earlier stuff now. Even some of the Jackson 5 stuff. But you know, I love Thriller. I love that vibe. And then kind of peaked for me with Bad, tapered off a bit with Dangerous. Remember the Moonraker or Moonwalker movie? My friend and I, we do like spend the nights and stuff. We would rent that and watch that. It's the coolest thing. I got to get some more MJ. Clay says, I'd rather get a manual turntable because I feel I'm more in control of the record player. And not only that, I just feel more carnival with it. I'm not sure what that meant, but yeah, I get it. You know, a lot of people like the manual turntables. A lot of people think the idea of a manual turntable is insane. Like, why doesn't every week I get 2 or 3 comments? What happened to auto return? Why don't we have auto return? And why does you mean this doesn't have auto return? And you know, it's a different landscape that we're living in now. I will say this though, with an automatic, you have the option of running it manually. So if you feel like queuing things up, oh yeah, another cool feature this FIO has is kind of weird and cool is you can skip tracks. Now it doesn't intelligently seek to the next space between songs. It just kind of lifts it up randomly and puts it a fixed amount forward, but it's still kind of cool to be able to go forward and back a little bit. I think that that's pretty neat. All right. Yes, Jaime, welcome in, my friend. Yes, so Jaime brings up a good point. FIO's coming out with a new upgraded version of the CP13. I think it's called the CP15. I'm not sure. Maybe it's something else, but I think the CP13 is great. I still have mine. I like it. The headphone amplifier on the CP13 is better, slightly, but better than more powerful than the We Are Rewind. I still love my We Are Rewind. I'm also looking forward to getting my hands on the We Are Rewind boombox that's coming out. I think that's cool. Tony says, I love my AT LP3. Highly recommend. I love the LP3. Early years on this channel, that was my favorite turntable of all time. I love. I've had 2 of them over the years, the LP3. And nothing bad happened to the first one that, you know, it was its own fault because I actually blew out the preamp because I was doing something stupid. I had a splitter that I didn't realize was backfeeding voltage into another device. Otherwise, I would have the original one still. I decided not to keep the LP3 when I moved from Denver down here to Florida a couple of years ago because I was in the process of shuffling turntables, had dropped the LP3 on its side and cracked the dust cover. So I ended up donating that one, I believe. But it's a great turntable. So beautiful. I love the white one with the red head shell. The original one was a black one, which was also cool. I think they had the red head shell too. Just a great fully automatic. It's like the I think at the time when I reviewed them, I said it's like, imagine the LP60 fully automatic and the LP120 fully manual had a baby. So you've got like an LP3. I don't know why they call it 3 when it's somewhere between a 60 and a 120. I don't know how they come up with 3. Maybe it's the third. I don't know. Anyway, it's got a fully adjustable counterbalance, a removable head shell. You can put, you know, whatever cartridge you want on there. You can adjust the anti-skate. You can do all these things with it. You can use it in manual mode or automatic mode. It's got a moving coil setting on the preamp. It's crazy. I think when it first came out, it was like $199. And then they upped it and came out with a Bluetooth version. I never had my hands on that newer version of it, but the ones that I have are great. And I agree, it's highly recommended. Yeah, Clay, that Phillips. That's a cool one. I love that thing. In fact, I was thinking about using that on a show coming up. We'll see. That's a fun little guy. I love that one. Eric had a Technics SL6 back in the day. Yeah, the feeling of wish you never got rid of it. I know what you mean. Kind of feel that way about the LP120X. If I had to go back and choose between the LP120X or the Pioneer PLX 500, I think I'd go with the Audio-Technica. I like it just a hair more, I think. At least I do right now. I liked it. It's so similar. It's the same basic turntable, but I kind of like the look and feel of the Audio-Technica just a hair. And I sold it, and I wish I had it. Soundburger is awesome. I love my Soundburger. That's a great. In fact, that's my kind of go-to turntable for listening to vinyl in my main setup. because I've got the cassette deck, the little Bluetooth transmitter. If you're interested in Bluetooth transmission and receiving, doing another show, partnering with FIO on a video coming up. Can't wait to share that with you. And I've got the SMSL CD transport and the SMSL reference DAC setup with the Fluence AI 41 5-inch driver silk tweeter speakers and the Victrola V1 sub. It's kind of a Franken system that I put together in there. That's the one I've been building out, and it sounds good. It sounds really good. It sounds really, really good. But when I need vinyl in there, when I need to play a record, I don't have a dedicated record player in there for that setup. But if I need to, I would go Bluetooth. Bluetooth? You can't go Bluetooth. If you go Bluetooth, you lose everything. You lose all of the analog everything. You can't listen to records over Bluetooth. Doesn't he know that? Well, yes, he can come in here and listen to it 9 different ways. But, if I just want to throw on a record, you know what I mean? Yes, I can. I can do that. It's fine. And no, it's not Bluetooth lossless, but it's probably going to be fine. You know what I mean? It's probably going to be fine. It sounds really, really good. And if I really need to listen to the pure analog sound of a record in there, I'll plug it in. I can plug it in. But I can also carry it in there wirelessly, throw on a record, relax, and still enjoy my life. I just goof it around you guys. There will be somebody out there. Oh, you can't do that. Doesn't he know? Doesn't this guy know anything? But yeah, the Soundburger's fun. I love that. I'm glad they brought it back. And I'm glad they brought it back into production and not just that limited edition thing. Remember Tecmo got one and nobody else got one? Very first record player I ever on myself was an Audiotronic Schoolhouse record player from 1984. I had trouble finding needles, especially in 2005, considering vinyl was in decline at that time. Very true. I've got an Audiotronics. I forget which model it is, but it's from around the same time frame. Those are rugged. Those are beasts. I think they're very cool. Yes, 4 speeds as well. Rim drive, very, very cool. This world needs a hero, says, I have the Pioneer PLX DJ, or excuse me, the DJ PLX 1000. I can't talk tonight, and love it. Yep, that's the one that competes with the Technics 1200s and stuff, and people love it. I know it. I don't think it comes with a cartridge. Not that that's a huge deal, but and there's no 78 on it, but it's a cool looking deck. I agree. Amazingly, I think that's also made by Handpin. I wish portable record players came with all 4 speeds, 16 and 70. I do too. That'd be really cool. Tin Pan Alley says, let me know when someone makes a phono with a record changer. Yeah, the last record changer was a Crosley Stack-O-Matic. And what's fun is, do I have it in here? I might have finally put it where it belongs on the shelf. I have a catalog, like a 2005 Crosley catalog. They had a lot of stuff with that Stack-O-Matic mechanism in it. They had like the wooden all-in-ones. They had little portables. They had all kinds of stuff. But yeah, there's nobody's making a changer. Nobody's making a changer. I don't know if anybody will make another changer. But if you want a changer, there's a great changer. They're out there. Get a BSR. I know everybody's, oh, not a BSR. That was the Crosley of its day. BSRs are fine. They're good. They're not bad. They're just fine. I mean, some people think that stackers or changers, whatever you call them, are just, sacrilegious. How dare you stack your records? Now, when I'm listening to the changer in a changer mode, I'll listen to it mostly in a single disc config, which is what I got now. I've got the single spindle on there, the removable single spindle. By the way, people have told me over the years that the 45 adapter for this is pretty expensive if you break it. And it's got a plastic tip. So I hope I never have to learn that the hard way. It's got the umbrella stacker spindle, small stacker spindle. But this thing is a beast. And if I'm listening to records on the changer, usually I'll grab a box set. That's great for the Reader's Digest. We're not talking about priceless vinyl. And yes, they do slip a little bit when they fall. And yes, it's probably not what you would want for your prized records. And I wouldn't listen to records like that anyway. I'm very, what do I listen to right now? That's why a single disc usually works. That's usually what I'm doing. Maybe every week or two I'll put that on, put on a stack of whatever and listen to it like a playlist. Otherwise I'm listening in single disc mode. But yeah, I've heard that comment before. I get it. It's not going to happen, I don't think. It could. It could. Yeah, at 16 RPM, you can actually get pretty good fidelity. A lot of those Seberg records will surprise people because that's 16 2/3 RPM right there. But that would be cool. But you know what? There's like 5 people that want that 16 RPM. Literally more than that, but you know what I mean. Definitely not the expert, Marcus. I appreciate that. I've just, learned the hard way. I've learned a little by being the novice, actually. What was a major problem with 16 RPM records and why didn't they catch on the way they wanted it to? I don't know if 16 RPM was ever used for the purpose of home record listening distribution. Maybe there was a push, but the way I understand it is 16 2/3 RPM was more industrial. It was more for elevator music, like the Sebergs and stuff like that. For, talking book, there was even like 8 RPM records, and you could actually hear audible sound at 8 RPM if you could believe it. But books for the blind kind of a thing. More industrial purposes. 33 1/3 was a speed that was developed in the 30s, and they knew that they could do, most transcriptions of radio shows and content made in the 30s was done at 33 1/3 RPM. So they knew that they could get good high fidelity sound or high quality sound before that term became a thing. So I don't think that they ever looked at to do that because there wasn't really a motivating factor. That being said, if you did 16 RPM on like a 7-inch record, then you could potentially fit an album on a 7-inch disc. But then, the tighter rotational angle, would that be a problem? Maybe you need a wider, maybe the disc has to be more linear, the curvature has, I don't know. Hey, John, welcome in. Thank you for the people putting in the terms as I'm fumbling over my words. Does the Fluence bass actually make a difference, or is it a gimmick? I wouldn't rush out and buy this thing unless you have a need, like a specific, like I've got a problem with my skipping records or sounds happening. I actually, originally, obviously, this is the same color as my Fluence RT81, and I had it paired with that. But the RT81 is so high mass. It's a heavy unit. It's very solid. I didn't need it. And if you ever wondered why make record players heavy, why, especially like DJ turntables, why do you make a DJ turntable heavy? It's to fight the resonances, the vibrations of a club or of a loud speaker or something like that. But if you have a quiet listening space that's got a well-controlled environment, you may not need it. It's a great match for this Technics because this Technics is a very boxy, lightweight turntable. That plinth is pretty hollow. That's a light shell plastic, and there's a masonite bottom panel in there. And if you take the aluminum platter off and you hold that turntable, you'd be freaked out by how lightweight that thing is. It's really lightweight. It's really hollow, and it's very microphonic. So there's not a lot of sound dampening going on in there. And you may say, well, why is it a good turntable then? Well, it's engineered and designed through things like the rubber, the dense rubber platter mat, the heavy aluminum platter, and it's designed to fight resonances in its normal hi-fi configuration. This is not going to be at the club. We're not doing any DJ work on this. It's belt driven for one thing, and you never DJ with a belt driven turntable. But if you have a lot of stomping around, if you got kids running around, if you have hardwood floors, I've got hardwood floors in my house in this room. So footfalls and things can be a little bit louder. So this is very microphonic. Like if you are listening to a record on here and you tap anywhere on this, you're going to hear thump, 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 thump through the thing. So instead of the Fluence needing this, because it was already pretty dense and it was very, in fact, the plinth of this is pretty much an RT81 plinth without a tone arm and a platter on it. It's the same idea. It was great for this because those vibrations that were coming up through the cabinet from the floor were dissipated in this with these silicone feet, and it made a great difference. Like I can now play a record on here, and if before I had this in here, if I went like this on this, you would hear it. You hear bang, 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 bang. Now with this in place, it's much more deadened. So it makes a difference. It also helps fight the footfalls walking in here, less likely to cause a skip if it's playing. That being said, there's other ways to go about this. This is kind of, how do I describe this? It's not an unnecessary product by any means, but you can do it in cheaper ways is what I'm trying to say. And not everybody needs it. No, you don't need, not every turntable needs an isolation base. If you're not having skipping and annoying microphonic issues and there's no problem, then don't just get one to have one. That would be foolish. But it is cool. I like it. Old Radios, welcome in, my friend. I would like to see Sony come out with a portable suitcase style player. You know, Sony isn't really thinking about their record players, in my opinion. They're like, yeah, it's kind of popular. Let's go ahead and OEM one. And they put their name on it. But I don't think that the Sony I like the Sony automatic, by the way. In fact, when my LP70 was in the shop, that's what I initially replaced it with. And when this came back, I kept the Sony out because I liked it more than the 70 for a while. And then I just got bored with it. It's a great automatic. The Sony is a great automatic. Same mechanism as the LP60, LP70, the Iowas. People always say that automatic mechanism was an Iowa thing, but it dates back earlier than that because all of the Optimus and realistic automatics of Radio Shack in the 80s were using the same thing. Some automatics now are using a new mechanism. The FIO is one of them. The Victrola automatic is one of them. The Crosley C300 automatic that came out this year is one of them. And it uses a 2-servo design. So there's one motor for the platter and then another motor for the tone arm movement. And it's slower, but it's an electromechanical movement of the tone arm. It's different. And it makes, yeah, it's a little different. But yeah, I don't know how I got there. I'm behind on comments. Big surprise. But yeah, the Sony is cool, but it doesn't feel like, oh, Sony put a lot of thought into this. You know, they just, I hate to say slap their name on it, but they pretty much slapped their name on it. Old Radio's been working on some stuff. That's awesome, dude. Tim Allen, welcome in, my friend. Dude, a zebra, the Zenith Cobras, those are cool. Yeah, the notification. I've given up on YouTube's notification system. It's a hopeless cause, it seems. If you've joined us since I mentioned it, don't forget the box sets go on sale at noon tomorrow. There's a link in the description. It's on our eBay store. 20 and only 20. When they're gone, they're gone. And we are shipping internationally, so anybody can buy them. Isn't that crazy? Clay, there was a Philco. Oh yeah, I've got my Philco over here. My 49 Philco's over here. My 46 is still in the shop. I started working on it last October and put it down and haven't touched it since. I'm doing a retrofit on that one. I had the 49 fully restored, and I love to listen to 78s on it. It's got like a Sonotone ceramic cartridge. It's an incredible, warm sounding thing. But anyway, Philco had an FM transmitting record player in like the 30s and 40s. It transmitted FM radio in the 30s and 40s from the phonograph to the radio. Can you believe that? That blows my mind that people could have that in their house in that time, let alone the fact that these were like slot loading automatics, automatic return. It's crazy. Yeah, and it's true. Yeah, the Bluetooth turntables, you can go hardwire out, so no big deal. What would you say your percentage of streaming versus physical media? Jim wants to know. That's a great question. I do have Apple Music, and I love streaming, especially lossless streaming. And how much do I do it? Anytime I'm in the car, I'm streaming audio versus physical media. I'm not going to bring a record player in the car. I'm not going to bring a tape player. I'm not going to bring a CD player. We've reviewed stuff that you can do that if you want to do that. Some people do. I got a buddy who even does it with 8 tracks still. Not going to do that. I just want some streaming audio that works in the car, and that's always the case. Traveling in an airplane, same. I'm going to listen to streaming. Also, I like to discover new music that way. If I want to check out a new band, if I want to just kind of listen to an album, there's some music that I want to be able to listen to, but I don't need to own. A lot of it. I listen to it way, like I've got a lot of records. Trust me. We all do, right? More than we ought to, maybe, or maybe not enough. But this is a mere minute percentage of the amount of music that I listen to. And I listen to every genre. And I'm in the mood for different things at different times. So yeah, I'll stream, absolutely. And it's really fun with equipment these days, working it into your hi-fi setup. So if you have a DAC or an amplifier or something with Bluetooth built in, I don't know why I'm reaching back here. I don't think this one has it. No, this does have Bluetooth. So yeah, the ZD3 Fozzy does have Bluetooth. So yeah, you can if you want to hear what your music on Apple Music sounds like through your glorious ESS Sabre DAC and all of its glory and modern circuitry through lossless and get a very high quality representation via Bluetooth this way, you can do that. And I like that. So you can listen to it over the hi-fi setups. You can listen to it on the go. It's very portable. So to answer your question, I would say it's probably 65. No, I'll say 60-40. I'll say 60% physical media, 40% streaming. How about you guys? I'm so far behind on comments. I'm so sorry, you guys. Where did I see that comment? If I miss a comment, guys, I'm sorry. Yeah, 40s. I wasn't sure it was 40s or 30s, but the transmitters are cool. Music Junkie, my friend, I'm glad you're on here. I was afraid you're going to get after me for not announcing this. I came up with a reason and everything, which is true. It was because I didn't know I was going to do this until we did it. So, Silvertone with a wire recorder. I've had opportunities to get into the wire recording thing for the channel and haven't quite pulled the trigger on that. I'm resisting wire. I'm resisting Laserdisc. I was resisting 8-track until I had to do it, and it's been interesting. What other formats? DCC. I'm probably never going to feature DCC. I mean, I shouldn't say that. I shouldn't say that because if I fall into possession of one of those, then I would do a show on it. But I'm not going to probably go see. And if it was at the thrift store, I'm like, dang, somebody just donated their DCC. I better not say I'm never going to do anything because I don't know. But anywho, no giveaways today, Music Junkie. You're just stuck with me. But I've got news. Definitely check out the box sets that drop tomorrow at noon. Once they're gone, there's gone. There's only 20 of them. A couple 1931, 33 RPM discs. That's so cool. Are they transcriptions? I appreciate it, Music Junkie. My friend, you've been a huge support. Really, really appreciate you and everybody. What? The PSX55 plinth is made out of seashells? I got to look this up. Are you pulling my leg? You put your records on that? It looks like plastic. Are you sure? Are you sure? That looks like BPC, and I love BPC, my friend. Jeez, let's see here. Super Z Dog, Brian Setzer Orchestra released some of their albums on colored vinyl. That's cool. Dirty Boogie, remember that? Oh, Vavoom, that was a great album too. Yeah, I saw them in concert once live in Denver. One of the first concerts I ever went to where nobody sat down during the entire thing. It's like, why do we pay for seats? I saw at the Paramount in Denver. It was crazy. It was cool. It was a Christmas show. Love Brian Setzer. Love Brian Setzer. Hey, Kevin, welcome in, my friend. Zion National Park, beautiful area. Kevin says 3600L versus 3600LC stylus. So we were just talking earlier. My FIO automatic turntable that I'm running right now has a stock 3600, which came with obviously the conical. And I put the Audio-Technica elliptical on it. I did a show comparing these, including direct feeds between the conical and the elliptical. It's a minute change for sure. I think it sounds good. And people that are worried about the tracking force because a 3600 tracks are rather heavy for a moving magnetic. It's like anywhere from 2.5 to 4 grams. 4 is a bit heavy for a modern magnetic, unless it's a DJ cartridge. That being said, really what it comes down to is the durability of the cantilever and the cantilever's weight rating. It has to do with compliance, so it's more about that. And then this one, the elliptical, has a rugged cantilever that's designed for the heavier tracking force that a 3600 can have. You're not going to know. You're going to put it on and be like, oh my gosh, this is unlocked sound potential for me. But if you're like got these huge dinner plates on your head and you're super critical with your coily cord that's going all the way across, and you're like, I'm going to listen to this. I'm going to listen to this intently. I wait till we got good power at night. I've got special cables. And you may be like, yes, I do hear it. There's a finite difference. I'm exaggerating because you can hear there is a hair more resolution. Typically, the difference between a conical and elliptical is a conical rides up higher in the groove. It is, think of a stylus as a joystick. And whereas you control a joystick to, turn mechanical movements into electrical movements or energy, the stylus is doing that in the record. Instead of a hand controlling it, it's the groove. And so the groove, has a better grip on that stylus and therefore imparts more accuracy when it is an elliptical, because it rides deeper in that groove, deeper down in there. But there's a couple of caveats. One of them is a good caveat. Typically, if you go buy yourself a 60s, 70s record that's beat up, it's worn out, it sounds, like it's kind of starting to lose some fidelity. It's worn out, almost guaranteed, high up in the groove because it was probably listened to with a conical stylus. That's good news if you have an elliptical, because you can unlock clean sound, better sound. It's not like a world of difference, but you can unlock better sound from a worn record because the point where that elliptical stylus is touching the groove is deeper down. I wish I had do I have my oversized record groove here? My oversized phono cartridge, that's in the other room. Dang it. It's deeper down in there. So the elliptical will be touching the groove in a place that wasn't worn out, and it can sound better. The caveat is it's deeper down in that groove. So if you have any dirt, grime, and grit, it's going to be more apparent. So your records have to be extra clean if you're using an elliptical. Yeah, that's that. So all that to say, I put the 3600L on here, elliptical. I put the 3600 elliptical stylus on this over the conical one because it was handy and it sounds a hair better on clean records. There you go. Conical's rounded and it's also spherical. Like there's no dimensional differences from one side to the other. The elliptical has a different shape and is tucked down in there. Look it up. You can see the different shapes. It's a little different. Makes better contact. It's a little more. The reason why it sounds a little better is because, like I said, if you think of the stylus as a joystick, it's getting the record groove is getting a better grip to give it more information. Okay, you sent a message to me about the plinth. I will take a look at that, my friend. Thank you. I see your Hawaiian section behind you. Yeah, I'll show them. I don't have a huge collection. Martin Denny has a big name in that. This is the collection. it's what is this? 10 records max? That's the Hawaiian collection. But yeah, let's look at it. Heck yeah. I love these are kind of like niche records, and you'll find them at thrift stores and stuff. They're not usually worth much, but they're super fun and they sound great. We have in our bedroom, we have a Victrola. It used to be called the 6-in-1 Mid-Century. Victrola likes to rename their stuff, so it's called something else now. But that is just a very basic all-in-one with the ceramic cartridge. And we like to play these Hawaiian ones in there. It's just kind of relaxing. It's really fun. But here we go. Stereophonic Heavenly Hawaii. Luke Leilani and his Hawaiians on Spinorama. Some of these have fun labels. Look at that. Isn't that a cool label? That design on there and the art on the back. If you're into getting records for investment purposes, you'll never make a dime doing this. Here's an RCA Victor, a black label RCA Victor, the music of Hawaii in living stereo. LSP up here means living stereo. That's cool. Hawaii Sunset Melodies. One thing about these Hudson Hi-Fi sleeves, the outer ones are a little foggy, which is fine. If it's like this, you can see it totally clearly. But you can tell it's a little foggy, and I kind of wish that they weren't that way, but they are. There's probably a good reason why they are. This one's recorded by the Waikiki Records Corporation. Also has a cool label. I like that. I love Arthur Lyman music recorded at the Silver Dome. Is that what it's called? Here's a London Records. We were just talking about them. So an EMI release. What is this? I got the sleeve in backwards here. Okay, this is your musical trip around the island of Hawaii with the Hilo Kalimas. Okay, does anybody, let me know in the comments, and I'll get to it in a minute. Does anybody, this limo reminds me, were you ever a kid that when the Scholastic Book Fair would roll into town at your school, you would always pick up the Guinness Book of World Records? And if so, if you had a Guinness Book of World Records around 1986, 87, 88, back when it was like a paperback book, do you ever remember seeing the world's largest limousine? Let me know in the comments. Here's another one here, Stereophonic, world's finest quality stereophonic record. That's a bold proclamation. Omega. These brilliantly recorded Omega records for every taste. Here's some titles. Playboy Percussion, Pink Champagne for Dancing, Kentonality, Sister Rosetta Tharpe, I know her, Sing Along, Pervasive Percussion, Erotic Percussion. I don't think we're ready for that. I'm not old enough for that. All right, here's a Longines Symphonet Society record. I always say that wrong. Hawaiian Holiday. I may be missing the cover because this is all I got on the back side. Gold medal recording. These Longines Symphonet Society recordings, and I did a thing about this, are usually RCA Victor pressing, so that's cool. Here's Halo Records, and it's just this record. I don't have any sleeve or anything, just my Hudson Hi-Fi sleeve. This feels like it's a, yeah, ooh, that's a, if it's not PVC, it's usually 45s. Styrene. This is a styrene 12-inch record. You probably won't be able to hear this, but glassy. Boy, that looks more scratched up on camera than it does the naked eye. And then for some reason, I've got an Emil's telegraphic transmission device, which is decidedly not Hawaiian music but also very cool, sitting right there as well. That needs to go on the other side of the divider, actually. That's the Hawaiian collection on LP. I don't think I have any Hawaiian 45s. I do have some Hawaiian 78s, and they're incredible. They've got beautiful labels with King Kamehameha. Superdog, I don't know if you heard us just talking about that isolation base. It does work if you need one, but unless you have a specific use case for it, you can deal with it. You can deal with the vibrations without it. Yeah, the Sonotone cart, that's what I got in my Philco for the 49 Philco slot loader. And it sounds it's really good. Music Junkie's got a car with an actual physical media in it still. I'm envious. Yeah, Bluetooth streaming in the car is the way to go. But hey, if you've got a CD player, man, that's the way I'd go too. Yes, Clay, the Lakeshore Learning CD player. Yep. Clay says, have you considered doing DVD albums, audio albums are recorded on DVD audio? I just haven't gotten one. So sure, eventually. Jim says, I'm trying to downsize, so probably 80% streaming, 20% physical media. I have a ton of DVDs. That's cool. It really has seashells in it? That's crazy, dude. That's awesome. Gummy Green. Thank you so much, my friend, for being here. Glass versus aluminum platter. I've never... Actually, no, I do have one glass platter. I don't have it on any turntable right now. It was part of I did a show about hi-fi. It was audio file upgrades. And it's a glass. Well, it's not a platter, though. It's a glass platter mat. It's super heavy. Super heavy. I like the idea of it. It sounds good because it's heavy, good mass inertia. It sounds like it'd be a good surface to put a record on. I like the look of it. I don't know sonically what glass is like. Aluminum platters are good because they're not too heavy in terms of being like, oh, I don't know, because can you really be too heavy? I think the platter should be as heavy as you can go. Because like we just reviewed that record player. By the way, if you haven't seen our video from yesterday, was it today? It was today. It was Sunday morning. I filmed it like 2 days ago. That's why I'm thinking that. But it had an cast iron platter, I believe. Did that one have the cast iron? One of the recent ones we did had a cast iron platter, and those are great. Super heavy, much more heavy than aluminum like this. I've seen steel. Those are good too. So any kind of metal is good. I don't personally hear any resonance issues with metal platters. I think that's probably what glass platter people would say was resonance, but yeah. How does sorry, the same question. Yeah, DVD audio is interesting because it is higher resolution than a CD player. It really, really is. And if you get a DVD player with an optical out, you can optically go out into a DAC. The problem is most SPDIF connections on DACs only handle, I think, up to like 24-bit at 48K, if I'm right. Well, that's still an increase over a CD. So I don't know. Yeah, I might have to check that out because I think you could do 96K audio on a DVD. In that case, you probably want to go in a different way. I'm sorry, I'm just thinking out loud. What's the lifespan of the 3600 LC? I'd have to look at their website. I think that an elliptical will last less. It won't last as long as a conical, but I don't think it's drastically different. I would check out their website to be sure. Do you have an opinion regarding the brand new ATVMX series? I don't have an opinion yet. I haven't seen any of this stuff. Let me take another look. It's been a while. Yeah, these cartridges. These are like their $6,000 cartridges. Probably not going to see these on my. I've seen. I know of them. They're like legendary. But yeah, I don't anticipate we're probably going to review them. But yeah, they're great. I mean, if you can afford it, great. The nude stylus on the Shure cartridge. I've never had a nude stylus, so I haven't. Apparently, people love them. I mean, I think it's going to be one of those minimal, kind of very finite, subtle differences, probably. Music Junkie swears by microline rather than conical or elliptical. I've also heard that. I've never heard a microline either. Or a Shibata. I've only ever heard linear and conical. That's the only two I've ever heard. Glow in the dark mats. That's cool. I like it. I like the lit mats. The ones that are just like they kind of take the light from above and kind of shoot it out sideways. It's all passive. It's just the way the plastic refracts the light. Yes, those old duels. It's been a long time since I had my hands on a duel. Yep. Acrylic platter mats are good. Cork is good. I go through cork phases. Really? Those are $200? Music Junkie. Bonded versus nude is night and day. I need to get a nude stylus then for sure. All right. Nobody answered my question about the limousine. But if you do remember, if you're watching the replay and you're like, hope he answers that. The world's longest limousine. It was one of the few pictures in the Guinness Book of World Records back then. And the thing was like 150 feet long, something ridiculous. Had a helicopter pad, a hot tub, crystal chandeliers. It had all this stuff. Crazy. Like as a kid, I'm reading this. I'm like, holy cow, I can't imagine. That's wild. I can't even imagine what that's like. And so we move here to Florida, and there's this place called Desertland. And this guy who's like this very wealthy individual from Israel, I think it is. And he he purchased a mall and turned it into his own, not private because it's open to the public, but his own amusement park, auto museum, and whatever else he wants to do, called Desertland. And it's up near Universal. It's so crazy cool, dude. If you are into cars, I know we're talking outside of the realm of things, but my mind was on this when I saw that picture. It's a car museum like no other. Like imagine a mall where the middle of the mall where everybody's walking is filled with cars. Okay. Then imagine every storefront in the mall has also been converted into a place to put more cars. But the way he's done it, or they've done it, is every store represents a different era. And they've rebuilt a lot of them to look like showrooms. So it'd be like a 1960s Chrysler showroom with all the artwork, the paint, the music, and all of these like, showroom ready Chryslers. Then there'll be one for Dodge and one for Chevrolet and Cadillacs. He's got cars from all over the world. And not just cars, everything from stagecoaches to Vespas, motorcycles, an insane collection of cars. Movie cars. If you look at the movie cars alone, I mean, everything you'd expect. The original Munsters coffin racing car, the A-Team van, the real one, screen-used DeLoreans, everything you can imagine. And then he's got a James Bond, collection, the world's largest private James Bond collection. So you go into another part of this mall, and it's like a huge room, like a warehouse, and he's fitted it out. First of all, there's an airplane. One of the jets from a James Bond movie is in there, and then there's all the different James Bond movies are represented, every one of them throughout the years. He's got like the original like marquee posters and stuff, but then he has like cars from every movie that were used in there. Including Moonraker. My favorite James Bond movie, I think, is Moonraker. I love Jaws, flying through the air. But but it's incredible. It's like you've never seen anything like it. He's also got a Batman museum in his museum where he has the original Batmobiles from the 60s, the original Bat bikes. He's got the 1990 Michael Keaton Batmobile. He's got the Bat boat, the Bat cycle, the Bat bicycle. He's got a Bat cave recreated. Insane, right? All that to say this. It's incredible. If you're into cars, the Peterson Museum probably can't hold a candle to this guy's collection. I walk in there the first time, and I'm like, there's cars owned by Elvis. There's cars, every movie, like all these eccentric things that you've only heard about. Lo and behold, what do I see? I see the limousine from that very book, the world's largest limousine. And I go running up to it like a kid. He's got it in one of the hallways. It's too big to fit in any of the rooms. So it's out. It's huge. This white limousine. I'm like, there's no way that can't be it. I remember this as a kid. Is it very? I stared at that picture and read that so many times over the years as a kid. Just stuck with me. I don't know. The concept of it has 20 tires in the front that all turn when the car makes turn, and 20 tires in the back. And it's like a very modified, very, very stretched limousine. And I go running up to it, and sure enough, it's the same one. So I'm very excited. I'm like, I finally get to check this thing out. I look in the window. Looks like you'd expect like a 80s Cadillac. I can't see anything in the main compartment. I walk down the side, and they've got like a door that opens up kind of like a jetway. You ever seen like in the movies like a Learjet or something where like the door opens down and there's like 4 steps? So there's a door out the side of it kind of like that. And I'm like, this is going to be incredible. I'm going to see the chandeliers, the swimming pool, the helicopter pad. And I'm expecting like hallways and I don't even know what, right? I go in, I peek my head in, and I'm so disappointed. You know what I see? I see nothing. It's a hollow fiberglass body. There is nothing in it. From behind the driver's seat till the end of this thing, it's just framework. There's like cross beams, like steel welded into cross beams. Now, I don't know if it originally had anything on the inside, but I'm like, this is it? It was so disillusioned. And when you get up close to it, the thing looks like a piece of crap. Like, it does not look good. Now, I was looking at like a 1-inch black and white dot matrix print of this from this, and my brain filled in the rest, right? But when you see it up close, I'm like, this is it? It's like cheap flat metal. The edges look like they're hand sawed, and it's just, it's been 40 years or something since I saw that image. And apparently it would have been left derelict in a field for 20 years, and Desert, whatever his first name is, had to go back and restore the thing. And so it's been through a lot since that photo op. And maybe that's why the inside's gutted out, but it's dark and there's no lights or anything. It's just it's a hollow tube. It can't move under its own power. Apparently at one time it could, but apparently too, when it did, even in its glory days, it barely moved. And it obviously wasn't street legal. It was much more of a, yes, we physically made the world's biggest limo. No, it's not really a functional limo kind of a thing. I can see that now through the adult lens of reality. Also, during its lifespan, somebody decided it would be a good idea to add more length to it. So now it's even more ridiculous. It's like 100 feet long. It's ridiculous. So I'm like, okay, well, let's check out the helicopter pad and the pool. So I keep going back further, and the pool is a hot tub. But the hot tub, now it's a car. How big of a thing can you fit on it? They have molded in fiberglass back beyond the rear window. It extends out and it dips down into a molded fiberglass hot tub basin that looks more ghetto and primitive than, it looks like a homemade job all the way, completely homemade. Couldn't be more basic and unappealing in person. Painted blue. They painted it blue so it looks like a pool. There's no pool lining. It's the same fiberglass that the rest of the body's molded out of. There maybe were molded seats, but they were just like, like down, over, and down. It wasn't like ergonomic or anything. There was no water jets. There was no plumbing. There was no drain. To make it physically have any water, they'd have to hook a hose up to it. So it wasn't really a hot tub or a pool. It was just that. And I was like becoming more and more disillusioned. I was like, it does look like a freak of nature. Yeah, Cadillac Eldorado. So then the very last part is the helicopter landing pad. It's a piece of plywood bolted to this thing. I'm not joking. It's like 3/4 inch or 1 inch thick plywood painted. It ain't no landing pad. And yes, they physically touched a probably lightweight helicopter on it for the picture to say that it could do it. This thing was such a piece of crap. I was so disillusioned. I mean, it was cool to say I've seen it, I've touched it. I finally found this thing. It was like a quest. I didn't know I was on that quest because I didn't know it even existed. But it was cool to see. But man, if my 1986, 87 self wide-eyed looking at this thing and imagining what that luxury must be like only knew, I would have been disappointed. But that wouldn't be as fun, right? My villain, and I've never been nice since. Jerry, thank you, my friend. I really appreciate you. Yes, if everybody could subscribe, if you haven't already, if everybody could give me a thumbs up. I think they've done that now. I appreciate that. Again, we'll wrap it up here. We've gone over an hour and a half. I always joke. I tell my wife, I'm like, I'm only going to get on for like a half hour. And she's like, yeah, I'll see you in 2 hours. I just love hanging out with you guys. I love chatting with you guys. This is my adult version of getting to do show and tell. And I used to love show and tell day as a kid. Speaking of show and tell, I do have something else, kind of an interesting curiosity. Do you guys remember this? We did a show on this a couple of years ago. It's a sound machine, but what's cool about it is it's got a little mixer built in where you can customize the sounds, like a little more campfire, a little less wind. Maybe I'll add in some waves. The cow face is nature sounds like birds. And you can like mix your own soundscape, which is really cool. And I'd forgotten I had this, and I do like to have white noise. I got this fan, you can probably hear it. I'm working also like wind blowing on my face. You guys are like, wow, this guy's real weird. So I love white noise. I just love, I don't like dead silence. And this is a really cool little device. But I went to plug it in, or I went to turn it on because it's got a 5-volt USB-C charger and a headphone jack. But I assumed it was battery operated, but it doesn't turn on unless you plug. It's either the battery died or it always required a power cord attached to it. It also has white noise. But when I was testing, and it has a timer too, so you can set a sleep timer, 30, 60, or 90 minutes. I mean, this is really cool. I like that. It's maybe at my desk when I'm working. I don't want to have music on, which is rare. Usually I'm listening to music. But I noticed that it was a high-pitched whine when the sounds were on. I'm like, that's terrible. I can't have that. It's like this high-pitched whine, and I'm not sure what would cause that. But yeah. Anyway, show and tell because it happened to be right here. I wasn't planning on doing anything about that, but that's something that's going on. Appreciate y'all being here. Jim, Clay, Steve, Gummy, Jerry, Music Junkie, everybody else I can't think of right now. Old Radios, my friends, Super Dogs, everybody else, Noah, everybody I'm not thinking of right now. I just want to say a huge thank you. Yeah, Clay, exactly. It's I was so disappointed when I finally got to see it. That being said, I'd love to go back to the museum again because it's so cool. Oh, I know you would, Music Junkie. I'm sure there's some dope places to get some records. All right, I love you guys. God be with you all. God bless you. Take care of one another. We're got a lot of cool stuff coming. Again, snag one of those box sets tomorrow at noon Eastern. Help support the channel. We'd really appreciate it. Tell your friends. Once they're gone, they're gone. And don't forget to check out our podcast that we're doing. Episode 2 drops Wednesday. As Music Junkie says, peace. We'll see you next time, guys. Take care.